Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Move Star Next. My ex's mom tried to ruin my life, so I sold her concert tickets right from under her nose. They drove 6 hours to see their favorite band, only to be turned away at the gate. The tickets they'd bragged about for months, gone, sold. By me. I can still remember the sound of my phone vibrating, the flood of angry messages, the voicemails full of screaming. That's when I smiled, because for once, karma had perfect timing. If you've ever been blamed for something you didn't do, or had your kindness twisted by manipulative people, then this story is going to hit deep. Hit that like button, subscribe for more true revenge stories, and buckle up. Because this is the tale of how I turned the tables on a family that built their empire on lies. When I first met Sarah, that's what we'll call her, she seemed like the kind of girl you read about in small-town church newsletters. Quiet, sweet, the kind of innocence that makes you want to protect her. She'd been homeschooled, grew up with a strict Christian education, and had that sheltered, soft way of talking that made you believe the world had never really touched her. We met at 18, that strange age when you think love is supposed to save you from everything. At first it felt pure, honest, but behind that innocence there was something else. A weight, something she wasn't telling me. Her family seemed picture perfect. Her dad, a construction worker with rough hands and a loud laugh. Her mom, the kind of woman who always wore pearls and spoke like she was auditioning for a Sunday sermon. But beneath that suburban smile, something dark was brewing. Her dad had been injured on the job. A freak accident with a garage door crushed his arm. He couldn't work again. The family started struggling financially, and that's when things changed. Suddenly, every single child in that house was diagnosed with something. Anxiety, dyslexia, ADHD, depression, all official, all signed off by a friendly family doctor who just happened to be Mom's best friend. The thing was, none of them were sick. Sarah once whispered to me one night, "Mom says it's for the best. We all get SSI checks now. It's just easier this way." That sentence haunted me. It's just easier this way. See, her mother wasn't just collecting disability checks for each kid, she was also registered as their PCA, their personal care assistant. That meant she got kids $64 an hour to care for them, except she didn't. She spent her days getting her nails done, going on self-care retreats, bragging about how blessed she was. Meanwhile, Sarah was trapped, told she was too fragile to work, forced to fake dyslexia on paperwork, just to keep those government checks flowing. I didn't come from money, but I believed in hard work and in doing the right thing. So when Christmas came around, I wanted to do something nice. Sarah had mentioned her mom's favorite band, Journey. So I spent weeks saving up, and I bought 2 front-row tickets. I figured, maybe for once, I could make them happy. Her mom smiled when she got them. But it wasn't gratitude in her eyes, it was ownership. Like I'd just added another thing to her collection. A year and a half later, Sarah wanted to move in with me. We were young, in love, ready to start a real life together. When she told her mom, everything exploded. Her mother screamed that Sarah was abandoning the family, that by moving out she'd destroy their finances. See, if Sarah left, her mom couldn't claim her as disabled anymore. Her dad stormed in, red-faced, veins bulging in his neck. He slammed his fist on the table and said, "You're stealing my daughter for her money, boy." I wanted to yell back, but Sarah's eyes, wide, trembling, stopped me. She was torn between loyalty, and love. And in the end, she broke. She told me she couldn't do it, that her mom had threatened to make her life hell. And just like that, the girl I loved walked away. I felt hollow, like the ground had been ripped out from under me. I tried to move on. I got a new job. I found a small apartment. I wanted a fresh start, away from the manipulation, the control, the lies. But when the time came to pay my security deposit, I realized I was short. $300 short. I stared at my empty wallet, the rejection letter for my last apartment lying on my desk, and then, like a light flicking on, I remembered something, the tickets, the Journey tickets, still in my Ticketmaster account, still in my name. I pulled up the app. The concert was just 2 weeks away. I hovered over that little sell button. For a moment my hand shook. Was this revenge? Was it wrong? Then I remembered her mother's voice, accusing me, calling me a leech, saying I was after money I didn't even want. I remembered the way Sarah looked at me, torn apart by guilt she didn't deserve. My finger stopped shaking, and I clicked. Sell. I didn't think much more about it. I got my deposit money. I moved into my new place. Life was quiet again, until 2 weeks later, my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Calls from Sarah, from her dad, from numbers I didn't recognize. Then the messages started pouring in. You disgusting thief. You ruined everything. You're a worthless piece of trash. And then one that made me pause. We drove 3 hours to get here. They wouldn't even let us in. That's when I realized they'd actually gone. They'd spent 6 hours round trip, dressed up, probably bragging to everyone about their amazing tickets, only to be turned away at the gate. I sat on my couch, phone still buzzing beside me, and for the first time in months, I smiled. Not a petty smile, not a cruel one, just quiet satisfaction. Because justice, real justice, doesn't always need to be loud. They'd built their lives on lies, on pretending to be victims, on manipulating anyone who cared enough to help, and now, for one night, they got to feel what it was like to be powerless. Sarah reached out once more. Her message was short. They're furious. They said you embarrassed them in front of everyone. I didn't respond, because there was nothing left to say. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about hurting someone, it's about taking back control. They'd taken my relationship, my peace, my kindness. But they didn't get the last laugh, and I'll be honest, I don't regret it for a second. As they stood outside that concert gate, tickets denied, pride shattered, I imagined the realization hit like cold rain. For once, they couldn't buy, lie, or manipulate their way out of it. For once, they had to face consequences. Sometimes karma needs a little nudge. It's not about revenge for the sake of revenge. It's about balance, about finally standing up for yourself after being stepped on too long. If this story gave you that justice-served feeling, hit that like button and unsubscribe for more real-life revenge stories that prove karma never misses. Tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest, yet most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Because sometimes the smallest act leaves the biggest mark.